Welcome to this week in the world of wrestling.
Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort in commentary, Ashton, and this is our NXT review. For me personally, I really enjoyed this episode of NXT. We did get some progression for the future. One blockbuster matchup got named in what should be a very intriguing and phenomenal special event for the WWE. As far as this episode of NXT is concerned, just as a standalone thing, I think we got some solid matches, some very intriguing matches that saw some returns as well that I was quite giddy about. And overall, just a really fun hour. I don't know as like a standalone show if it really accomplished a lot, but I still had fun with this. What did you think, Ashton?
Yeah, man, this was a pretty fun show. It's gotten to the point now that I feel like it's really unfair to compare NXT to Lucha Underground, so I think we should probably just stop.
Yeah, that's why I haven't even done like the whole Wednesday Night Wars thing or whatever, because you're really talking about two very distinct entities at this point. I mean, even again, in the overall aesthetic, I mean, NXT still has those WWE influences, and
it's like, basically, it's like comparing Breaking Bad to South Park. Like, sure, they're both TV shows, and they're both amazing, but they're so different, you cannot compare.
Absolutely, and I think that was right on the head there, so, but with that said, I mean, would you say that you enjoyed tonight's episode of NXT, or how are you kind of feeling about it?
Yeah, it was alright. I mean, I would say that it was one of the weaker NXT episodes that I've seen in recent memory, but there were a lot more sort of like, this will hit you right in the feels kind of moments tonight, between the Sami Zayn video package, the Sasha Banks video package, the Finn Balor promo on Owens, the Solomon Crowe promo. There was a lot of character development tonight. There wasn't a lot of storyline development, but there was a lot of character development tonight.
Yeah, you know what? That's actually an excellent way of putting it. I'm not even going to touch that, so let's move on to our first segment, Heat of the Night. You know what? Since we usually treat this platform to have, like, any grievances, right? I'm just gonna say, I don't really know if I was crazy about seeing Solomon Crowe a week after he lost to Kevin Owens. Because I like the illusion that when Kevin Owens really beats down a guy,
But he didn't have a chance to, John.
That is true. He didn't
saved. Have a chance to actually do the post-match beatdown because, was it Balor that saved him?
I think
it was Samoa Joe, that's right.
It was Joe. So, yeah, I guess with that, yeah, you got a good point there. It's just, it was weird seeing him just as soon as, like, he lost in such dominant fashion to Kevin Owens. But that said, I really did enjoy the promo, and we will talk about that, at the appropriate time to talk about it. So, with that said, that's the only thing I kind of wanted to get off my chest. Do you have any heats tonight or nitpicks?
I don't know if I would call it a heat of the night or nitpick, but kind of following the same lines as you. The only grievance I have is, why did Rhyno come out and gore Finn Balor at the end?
You know what? I think it's because he's frustrated. If we're looking at it from a narrative perspective, he's come back here to the WWE because he heard that NXT was the hottest thing going. I gotta say, what I love consistently about Rhyno is how much he puts over NXT as like this really huge deal.
Right. I mean, I guess I feel like it was a heel turn, but I don't understand why they felt the need to turn him heel.
I think it stems from, see, I don't know, because I thought Baron Corbin was going to be the heel, because I've anticipated those two having a rematch down the road. Maybe they're going to go the route that you've been saying, that in an alternative events, they team up. I don't know. It's just weird that they turn him heel. I mean, I can understand, like...
And I guess my biggest problem with it is that, like, now... It's so funny, because I'm more annoyed by kayfabe injuries than real ones, almost. And obviously, real ones are terrible, and I would never wish those on anyone, but... kayfabe injuries are just such a drag. I mean, you've got Neville with his knee on the main roster, Ryback with his ribs on the main roster, and now we're going to end up with a frickin' Finn Balor rib injury, too. And I really don't want another kayfabe injury that these guys have to work around.
Yeah, because you know what? Like, the whole... Well, I guess I might as well say now. We know that Finn Balor and Kevin Owens are going to collide, a month from now.
Right.
And, like, are you really going to have taped ribs for that long?
I know, right? And the fact that it's in Tokyo, oh my god.
Yeah, like, you're in Japan, which is freaking here. Like, you and I have covered New Japan events. We did Wrestle Kingdom 9. we know how legitimate Japan is.
Is it going to be? Do we know if it's going to be in the Tokyo Dome or not?
I thought it was going to be in the Tokyo Dome, but I'm not 100% sure.
I mean, if that happens, good God.
Do you really?
Is that the same show that Brock Lesnar is going against Kofi Kingston on?
Yes.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
But you're going to tell me that you expect me to get sucked in and create an atmosphere. Now, let me just put it to you like this, Ashton. With Demon Balor coming out, but with taped ribs? Really? I'm hoping they don't go that route.
Yeah,
I really
that's kind of my biggest concern, and that's kind of the only reason I had a problem with this segment, is because I just don't want this to end up being a kayfabe injury for Balor that, oh, well, if he loses, it's a good excuse, but if he wins, he overcame so much.
And you know what? Like, oh, God. See, I know I'm, like, overbooking, and I'm thinking too much, like, Lucha Underground territory, but it would be, like, amazing if he did, like, do the tape ribs, if we have to go there, just as Finn, but the moment he taps into the demon, like, that pain threshold increases, and his ribs, like, no longer are bothering him, so he just, like, rips the tape off or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You know, like, that would be, like, creating a moment, because it's like, oh, what's happening with Finn Balor? And, oh, he's tearing off the bandages, and he's, like, giving himself to the demon, because the demon's like, oh, you need my freaking power, and then, you know, you just go at it, and you do it. You know,
yeah, that definitely feels like a Lucha Underground moment.
Yeah, see, like, I'm telling you, man, it's infected.
We're so spoiled!
I know, dude, because, like, every thought process I have now, it's like, no, John, only Lucha Underground does it. I'm like, God damn it. But, yeah, dude, I totally get your concerns. I hope they don't go there. To be fair, I don't think they will, and here's the thing. If they do, when we've got a whole month before this showdown, you and I both, I think, will seriously call them out on it, because that's just ridiculous.
Yep.
Yeah, it was one gore. Get over it.
I know, right? Yeah, that's the thing. All right, well, I mean, hey, that all being kind of cleared out of the way, let's get into the main show.
All right, let's roll right on through to our NXT review. And, bro, how do we open this show up?
With a recap showing Kevin Owens beating John Cena clean at the Elimination Chamber.
Whether you love Kevin Owens or not, he must have done the whole NXT locker room proud. That must have been amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care how much of a douchebag, scumbag, asshole he is. If he shows up on NXT again, he's going to be the crowning hero.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be a god. He is going to be an absolute god.
He's going to get that last appearance by the Wyatt family kind of reception.
Dude, to me, it was, I don't know if this is the best parallel I can use, but it's the only one I'm thinking of. That would have been like ECW at its peak. Their champion beating the WWF champion at the time.
It would have been maybe like the Cruiserweight champion at the time.
Maybe the Cruiserweight champion would be
actually, you know what, in the WWF it was the Light Heavyweight champion. Yeah, maybe that. Or the Intercontinental champion even. It wasn't I get that John Cena is the top guy, but if it would have been meant to mean as much as if he would have beat the WWF champion at the time, it would have been Seth Rollins.
Right.
So.
But I think you get what I'm trying to say. Like, you beat somebody that huge when you're
right,
like
smaller like 1999 Intercontinental Champion Rock.
Yeah, there you go. And like, you just come back and it's like, wow, yeah, who's the big time now? And that's probably how NXT is going to be so buzzed. So, great stuff. But then our first formal segment of the show, what do we got?
We got our first match to open the show. A little bit of a cold open with Tyler Breeze coming out during his entrance for the very first moments of the show. He faced off with Adam Rose, and this was a really a solid, long, surprisingly long, really, match that Adam Rose got quite a bit of offense in.
I was so happy to see that. I mean, first of all, there's so much I want to say on the Adam Rose half, actually much more than Tyler Breeze, because Tyler Breeze, I think, is just not in a weird place right now, but I mean, what can you really say after he lost the number one contendership match to Finn Balor? But Adam Rose, I'm glad they treated him with that kind of dignity, respect, and competency, considering that he was the partner of Tyler Breeze that just ate a super kick in their post-match celebration. So I thought, they're just going to treat him like some whatever. But then I have to remember, if there's one thing NXT is good at, it's always treating their own with a certain respect and dignity. Before we even get into any physical about the match, the crowd had some very interesting chants. Some of them were very supportive of Adam Rose, but there was an outbreak at one point of "We Want Kruger" chants. Found that very interesting.
It's strange because it's almost like the crowd can't decide how they want to support Adam Rose. Like, they all freaking love this guy.
Right.
But after that E60, they can't decide if they want to kind of push to get the Leo Kruger character brought back, or if they want to just keep supporting him in what he's currently doing. It's like they half the crowd thinks that they know what's best, and the other half just wants whatever Leo or whatever Adam Rose wants, what he thinks is best.
See, it's such a shame, and I'm not saying like your way and like my contributions to your dialogues on it are the correct way, but when you look at the Leo Kruger character, you devoted certain episodes of NXT TWitWoW, and I don't know if any of them are up on YouTube. I'd encourage anybody to go back and listen to them, where you talked about how you would handle the Leo Kruger character as this hunter and the types of superstars he would go after. And I think it all led up to a feud with Randy Orton because he was the Viper.
Yeah.
And you do that. And like, I still to this day feel like the Leo Kruger character was the main eventer that got away. And I don't know. Would I say that now with the talent that we have? It would be more of an uphill climb, but I still think it would be doable. Adam Rose, what he's
I think the
doing
difference is that Adam Rose is destined to mid-card hell for life.
Yeah.
I think that in the current dynamic of the WWE, Leo Kruger could have been an Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, honestly, dude, with how, and this is not a knock, but I'm sure with how injury-prone Bryan is becoming perceived as with some people, and I think the sympathy that it's kind of generated for him from many fans, can you imagine, because they always call him the goat face and this and that, Leo Kruger kind of preying on Bryan in that Intercontinental Championship if he had managed to stay healthy?
Yeah,
or,
that would have been awesome.
Back, yeah, like, so you still could have done it. I think you still could have made it a big deal. But Adam Rose, man, is just like you said it best. Mid-card hell is the perfect descriptor. So I get the struggle that the people are having because I want to support him too. I mean,
yeah, it's like all of us want this guy to succeed. Everybody wants Ray LaPon to do well in the WWE. It's just that people can't decide, and it's not really, I'm saying that each individual person isn't sure. I'm saying that the unit as a whole can't decide because there are so many people with one opinion and then a bunch of other people with the opposite opinion on what they think is best for him and his character growth and everything like that. So, and I mean, it doesn't help that he comes out with the frickin' Leo Kruger 5 o'clock shadow either.
No, it doesn't, especially when we had that whole tease that the character might be coming back with the whole bunny angle, and now he's just beating up his own rosebuds and this and that. And you know, like, the very serious, like, John that's kind of detached from the product and not being the wrestling fan says, well, what's best for him is just him being on TV and getting that paycheck week to week. But then there's the other side of me that's like, well, if we were to ever get him bigger opportunities, which could potentially translate into bigger money, you know, because of who you're working with, where you are on the card, this and that, you know, you want him to have the gimmick that could get him there.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost the AJ Styles debate, because with AJ Styles, he's currently making about 4 times, I think it was like 3 to 4 times more in Japan than he would make on his initial contract with NXT. But if he would pull a Kevin Owens and sign to NXT for 6 or 7 months and then get called up to the main roster right away, he has a lot more sort of, a lot higher of an earning ceiling.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's kind of the same thing with Adam Rose, Leo Kruger, whatever you want to call him. His current state is AJ Styles in New Japan. Changing to Leo Kruger would be like going back down to NXT, but then he also has a higher ceiling with that.
Exactly. It's such a dichotomy, and that's why, like you, I really didn't appreciate the dig that John Cena took at Adam Rose Monday night.
Yeah.
About, if the Mario Machine really worked, you'd be wearing an Adam Rose t-shirt. You know, because, I mean, look, I joke around a lot, and I say, I love douchebags and that, but if you cannot be emotionally pulling for Ray LaPon after that E60 special, which, again, if anybody yet has not seen it, please go see it. I mean, good God, if anybody deserves to succeed in this industry, it is.
We really should have done a video discussion on that. I wish we would have.
I wish we would have, too, the more time goes by, because, man, was that a powerful piece. But to keep the focus on the match, because I did want to have the discussion about Adam Rose, I mean, the match was solid. Yeah. It made me, you know, and I think that's what spurred this whole discussion to begin with, honestly, because Adam Rose got great offense in. I got to see his better than Arn's spine buster, as I like to call it, because
he hit the slice.
He hit the slice, which I know you popped for. I liked, he did one move. I don't know if it was powerbomb. Maybe it was the spine buster cover. I think actually that's what it was. And on the kick out, he kept control of the legs, and he did that double leg Boston Crab. I mean, pretty much Walls of Jericho, more or less, but, you know, we'll call it by its technical term. And I'm like, God damn, I missed Adam Rose. And, you know, like, he's such a great worker, and his characters can be so on point. I'm telling you, we're going to look back on his career whenever it finishes up, however it finishes up, if something doesn't change soon, and say that was the guy that got away. Because I'm always going to believe, no matter how saturated our roster gets, that guy could have been something. Or
you know, it's so funny that you say that, because when you say that, I think of names like Sean O'Haire, Muhammad Hassan, you know, like big guys that had the look and they had kind of everything that you look for. But with those two guys, the one thing that they had in common was that they weren't necessarily that crisp in the ring. This dude is incredible in the ring when you give him a chance.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with those two names you listed as well, but I think you're right on all counts, and that's what I'm just so disheartened about, is just knowing that. And I think that is honestly where this is going, because I'm not going to feed anybody any false optimism. I don't really know how he's going to get himself out of mid-card hell, but I don't know what movie it came from, but that one famous line, I could have been a contender. And I feel like Adam Rose could have been a contender. And he had a great match here. He lost, of course, to Tyler Breeze with the beauty shot. And you got to wonder, what does Tyler Breeze do now? Because this is his second try getting back in the NXT Championship picture. He lost. Does he just keep trying at it? Does he go to the main roster? Like, Tyler Breeze is another interesting one.
He's kind of in the NXT version of mid-card hell,
He really is, because it's like he can be on an uptick.
He can't kind of break into that main event scene, but he's better than everyone else that isn't in the main event scene.
It's kind of like what they used to say about Chris Jericho in the early 2000s, like this guy that was just so good, so on point in the mid-card, but they thought he could never win the big one. And Tyler Breeze just can't.
That's crazy that you bring that up, because I was even saying I would love to see a Tyler Breeze versus Chris Jericho feud.
Yes, I remember you saying that to me, and now I'm like really seeing it. Holy crap. But yeah, Tyler Breeze, man, like this whole match was weird to me on a more metaphysical level, because I'm thinking about like the actual guys, the performers, and I'm like, holy shit, like I'm thinking about these two guys and I'm like, where are we? Why are we, this match is so good, but like, why are we doing this? Why aren't these guys, in these two other places? So yeah, this match was really good, but it made me think far more than it should have.
Yeah, it was the one spot that really stands out to me for some reason was when Adam Rose took Tyler Breeze to the outside and did a leg drop on his head on the apron.
Yeah.
For some reason, that spot just stands out to me. I don't know why.
He also did, and I know Mick Foley like tweeted about it, because
the elbow drop off
elbow.
Yeah.
Because I think that was probably a little tribute to Mick after Mick went up to bat for Adam Rose on his Facebook, said we should give him one more chance. And man, again, this match just made me think far more than any right to. But yeah, good stuff, and Tyler Breeze gets the win. I just don't know what he does now.
Yeah, that is a good question. It would have been smart if they would have had someone come out after the match for Tyler Breeze to get into a feud with.
I mean, we found out tonight, dude, that Marcus Louis was still a thing. Would it really have been so bad? I mean, maybe you could have picked that up. I don't freaking know.
Yeah, I don't know. Up next, though, we did have the Solomon Crowe promo that you brought up earlier. And basically what he's saying is that he doesn't regret stepping to Kevin Owens the way he did, and that he plans on being back in the ring with an NXT champion again.
I'm still... We've had conversations about Crowe. I've kind of fleshed out my Force One experience with everybody, which felt so good, because you've always been Mr. FCW, and I'm just always sitting like, that's great, like looking like some fool, and it's nice that I could bring something to the table. I'm still waiting for this guy to turn heel, because that's when I really think he's going to turn heads. He's not bad as a babyface, but I think with the gimmick that he has, if you just give him a sadistic streak and like just a streak of malice down his back, that's when he's really going to start making things happen. So I'm still waiting for that heel turn. I think he's...
what's really funny, though?
What's that?
You say that, and that is... I mean, that sounds like me 3 years ago talking about Ambrose.
Yeah.
When he was in FCW, and he was kind of like that tweener where he wasn't really a full-on bad guy, and he was cutting these promos about how he's going to change the world and all this stuff, and it was really cool, but I just kept on saying, man, turn him heel, let him be sadistic. And that's what everyone's saying now about Ambrose, is that he's good, but he hasn't really done anything great. But I bet if they would turn him heel, blah, blah, blah. And then you kind of have to take a step back and think, oh my God, Switchblade conspiracy. Hello? John.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, what did you mean Switchblade conspiracy? I was kind of asking what you meant.
I didn't hear what you said. Yeah, you kind of cut out there. But
oh, that was weird. Yeah.
Yeah, Ambrose and Callahan, Sami Callahan, Solomon Crowe, were a tag team in CZW called the Switchblade Conspiracy.
Okay.
And they cut amazing promos, and it was everything that everybody ever wanted. And now they've been in WWE for how long now for Ambrose? I think it's 4 years now for Ambrose, maybe 3, and probably closer to 2. Actually, it's been in Ambrose might have been in there longer, but 2 years now for Crowe, and we're both talking about the same kind of stuff. Turn him heel, turn him heel, turn him heel, turn him heel, and they aren't.
Yeah, we're stuck. And the thing is, at least with the Ambrose like babyface experiment, I would call that a success because crowds are definitely responding to him. He's definitely over. I think people are really rallying behind him, in this stretch towards Money in the Bank. With Crowe, I'm not saying people aren't responding to him, but I don't think he's making the impact that I would have initially, thought him capable of. I just think he needs to shake things up a bit, and I definitely think a heel turn would achieve that. Maybe this promo would kind of, hint towards that when he says, when I come back, I'm going to be better than ever. Now, who knows how he's going to come back, but only time will tell. But I'm not giving up on the Solomon Crowe character.
My question is, why is he leaving to come back?
Maybe he feels like... when you lose to the NXT, when you climb in the ring with the NXT champion and have that chance of greatness...
No. I don't mean kayfabe. I mean real life reason. Like, why is he leaving for however long it's going to be and then not coming back?
I don't know. I haven't read about any injuries or personal issues.
Yeah. Are they just like repackaging him? Like they feel like it's not working, it's not getting over, and they're going to repackage it? Like, here's my thing. He's supposed to have a hacker gimmick, right?
Yeah.
What does he have that implies that he's a hacker? What does he do? What does he have? What does he say? What is anything about him that says hacker?
Not a lick. Not a damn thing.
Yeah.
Besides
so maybe they could think about actually giving him a hacker gimmick if they're going to say that he's a hacker.
And you know what's so dispiriting about that, Ashton? Because the same reference I made in the opening match of Adam Rose versus Tyler Breeze, when I kind of put over your booking of the Leo Kruger gimmick, hunting all the animal-based superstars, how crazy did I go over that hacker gimmick? How did I lay it out? Do you remember the discussions we used to have about that?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Like, we could do all this stuff, and I got so excited. Like,
you could literally, like, you think back to the right to censor, right? And
yeah.
They literally used those guys as a heat sink for the WWE transferring out of the Attitude Era.
Right.
They could use Solomon Crowe as a heat sink for literally any technical difficulties that they ever have, ever.
Exactly. And I just remember the excited
like
discussions.
The lights go out in the arena. Oh, it must be Solomon Crowe. The feed cuts out on the network. Oh, sorry guys, Solomon Crowe hacked our stream earlier. Like, it's such an easy thing that they can use to pass off to keep everything kayfabe.
I mean, not to go down that rabbit hole again, because I'm remembering our past conversations and everything, and I hope that somebody could like find them somewhere. But how can you? Because the best gimmicks WWE can ever do are the ones that are pop culturally relevant or socially relevant on some level.
Yeah.
How can you, in an age where we're concerned about things like the NSA, Edward Snowden, hacktivist groups like Anonymous, cyber warfare, you have got all this stuff, and
you think Vince gives a crap about Edward Snowden and Anonymous?
No, because Vince is old and out of touch, and he needs to get out of the damn way. See, now I'm getting a little hot, because you could have this monster heel, or maybe even this...
He could be a babyface, dude. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a babyface gimmick on the main roster, because, like, when you think, oh, he's hacking the network, he's doing all this stuff, I know that this sounds terrible for the WWE, but at this point, the network is a freaking heel. The WWE network as an entity has become a heel. Why? Because it's associated with the authority, because they're the ones that talk about it all the freaking time.
Exactly. Can you imagine, because you and I are both excited for that one USA Network show like Mr. Robot, where it's supposed to be like this big revolution from this guy, and like all that stuff. Can you imagine Solomon Crowe terrorizing the authority? Oh, staff Triple H, I don't know how this happened, but I accidentally got into your assets. Wow, that's a lot of money here. Too much money for one person. And then he kayfabe pretends to, like, I don't know, make it rain in the arena where all these people can grab their money or something. I don't, just something like that. Yeah. I feel like there is so much potential.
I just imagine him, like, cutting out the network feed during a pay-per-view, during, like, a huge moment on a pay-per-view, and then the next night on Raw he gets called out by the authority. And they could have this whole thing where he's just like, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do it. And they're just like, we know you're the only person that can do this kind of stuff. You're the hacker and all this stuff. And then they can kind of go back to him basically being like, well, unless you can prove it, blah, blah, blah. And then they put him in matches that he has to kind of distract him with. And yeah, like there's so much that they could do with a hacker gimmick that it's ridiculous to me that now, if it is true, they're considering actually repackaging him and giving him something different, because that's such a perfect thing for him.
What a freaking loss. Because, see, now, again, I told you, now I'm kind of getting hot when I think back to our past conversations and the one we just had. If there was ever a time when you would want to give anybody a hacker-based gimmick that would be more socially relevant and identifiable.
And that's another great thing, too, is he could actually be the one to bring down the Authority in the long run, because they could have, like, something where, like, you know how when they had, I think it was Scott Armstrong was the crooked ref with Daniel Bryan. Well, he could have hacked into the building's camera system and shown Triple H making the deal with Armstrong on the Titantron.
There are so many creative avenues. Like, we've just given you close to a dozen, for God's sakes. And the idea that they haven't used one, not a single one. I cannot tell you. I talked about missed opportunities with Adam Rose. I mean, these are a whole different kind of, like, missed opportunities with Solomon Crowe, and it's just really sad. So that's all I want to say about that. We can move on. Otherwise, we're going to be here all night. So,
all right, up next, we just got a little, like, an infographic thing saying that Dana Brooke is going to be participating in the Arnold Classic, and she's going to be taking some time off for that. So good for her.
Absolutely. I mean, it's really what she does best. I mean, that's, you know, kind of the epicenter of her livelihood, so I wish her the best of luck with it.
Yep. Now, to me, this might have been the most interesting segment of the night. Eva Marie comes out for an interview.
Yes.
And the crowd is just ruthless.
Yeah, persecution is putting it mildly.
They would not give her an inch.
No, they did not give her one iota.
She was getting Vicky Guerrero heat, dude.
Yeah. This could end one of two ways.
Both of them are good.
I'm thinking so, yes. Because first, before I even address what one of those two ways are, it should be noted that her first opponent might be Bayley, because they've been doing a little tease back and forth on social media. And if so, perfect. I think Bayley is just the perfect opponent to introduce to any newcomer on the main roster. She's just that kind of worker. So I'm good about that. Either A, Eva Marie shows everybody up, because I've been watching the Instagram videos of her training with Brian Kendrick, and I don't know if you've ever seen any of my tweet-off posts. I haven't done them lately, but I've been saying, you know what? Eva's really impressing me. She's putting in the time. She's doing the work. I'm willing to open up my mind to this and give her a chance. So she could show everybody up, and it could end in a really cool moment of the crowd chanting, oh, you can wrestle, or we were wrong, or something along those lines, and she earns their respect. B, she either could be really good or really bad. Either way, they still crap on her, and we've still got a great heel maybe for the NXT Women's Division. I don't know. I mean, how do you see this whole thing ending, Ashton? I want to get your thoughts on it.
Well, again, I mean, to me, it comes down to, like you said, one of two different things. Either she's really, really good and she's gotten a lot better and she earns the NXT crowd's respect, or she really, really sucks and the NXT crowd hates her and she's just a better, more improved version of Dana Brooke.
Right.
Either way, to me, it's a win-win.
I mean, yeah. Because it's funny that you even mentioned Dana Brooke, because I saw one photo on Instagram. I think it was on Bailey's Twitter, of her and Eva Marie together. Yeah, she was saying, I hear Eva Marie wants to, come participate in the NXT Women's Division. We welcome her with open arms. And one of the commenters was like, please no, we already have Dana Brooke. And so many were against Eva, which shocked me, because I thought those videos of her, training with Brian Kendrick and her actually, again, training with Brian Kendrick and putting in that time were common knowledge. But I think people still think like, oh, she's just this model, whatever, this, that. Now, I'm very intrigued about her first matchup since all this training.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be one of those matchups of the women's division that I watch intently for an entirely different reason than I would Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch. I mean, those two women are going to kill, but I'm wondering how much has Eva really grown? And we're definitely going to get our answer. Now, if it's, by quite a bit, then I hope that the NXT universe kind of opens their collective minds a little bit about Eva and gives her an opportunity. But if she sucks, if she's at least passable, I guess we can say that we have another great heel. So again, trying to find that silver lining in the cloud. But yeah, I felt bad for her here. I'm going to be honest.
To me, she has three big advantages over Dana Brooke. First of all, it's familiarity. People know who she is. She's already a star because of Total Divas. They can relate to her. They know if they dislike her, they know why, beyond just, oh, she doesn't like other women in the Divas division that we already like. And number two, to me, the look is an improvement. Dana Brooke had a very sort of niche, a very niche look, like not, I'm trying to say this in a way that isn't super insensitive, but Dana Brooke's look is something that most guys don't go for. You know what I mean? Like the big muscular type.
Yeah.
And now I'm not saying I have a problem with it. I'm just saying that if you would pull 100 guys, maybe 88 of them would say, yeah, that's not for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I totally
Whereas with
agree.
Eva Marie, I think you're going to find, like, you know, out of those 100 guys, maybe like 6 that don't like that look.
Exactly. So Eva Marie at least could play off that whole thing, like, oh, all your men want me and all you women want to be me, or just that kind of whole line of, like, heel talking.
And then the third thing is she actually has personality. She actually has a little charisma, which I cannot say for Dana Brooke.
And that is true. I mean, Eva Marie was the woman who, let's not forget, her first night on Raw slapped Jerry Lawler's
mouth.
I'm here to make a name for myself. Slap. But I'm rooting for her, though. Like, anybody that frequents Pweetov that listens to our show, first of all, thank you and welcome. We have cookies. And second of all,
you said Pweetov, didn't you mean TWitWoW?
Well, Pweetov that listens to TWitWoW, I said. So anybody from Pweetov who maybe listens to TWitWoW, or, you know, vice versa, you know, maybe listen to TWitWoW and join Pweetov. Either way, you know, welcome and thank you.
How you doing?
Exactly. Welcome, Gordon. But, you know, that may have seen my posts about Eva Marie, they know, like, I really do want to give her a chance.
Yeah.
And I really felt bad.
That's the thing, too, is that, like, it's not like she's just been, you know, going on photo shoots and modeling and being on Total Divas and this kind of stuff. She's been working in the ring, training with Brian Kendrick to get better and to be, at the very least, passable. And you've got to imagine that if she's on NXT, it's because she's at least passable at this point.
And I know you've seen the same videos that I have, so I'm hoping you get this reference when I say I hope in her first match back, that springboard DDT that she learned how to do, I hope that's her finisher, because that looked actually really nice. Or maybe she'll adopt the sliced bread number 2 in honor of her trainer. But hopefully she can
right. See, now that's even me being a douche, because that's just hard for me to believe her even doing.
It's hard for me to believe.
Because if she would be in the NXT women's division, she'd be one of the biggest women in there. I think she's got to be at least 5'8", whereas like you have Bayley, Sasha, Becky, Alexa, they're all like 5'4" and under.
Right.
You know, like it's just hard for me to imagine Eva Marie, as tall as she is, grabbing someone around the neck and running up the ropes and flying through the air. You know what I mean? It just seems so bad.
I mean, I've seen her like do the sliced bread in training, but again, my problem with it was she seemed a little slow at the start. She'd have to pick up the speed a little bit.
And not only that, but she was doing it to Brian Kendrick, who is also quite a bit bigger than most of the women in NXT.
Right. I don't know what she'll come out with, man, but I just hope it's something good. I'll put it like that.
I mean, if she's gonna be in the NXT women's division, I think that her finisher is best suited at some kind of power move.
Maybe. Well,
something Rack Attack-esque. Not quite that, but something around that, like something similar to that. You know what I mean?
Well, now it just got me curious. What's she gonna come up with? You know, it can't be any worse than what she was doing, you know, which was the roll up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that one time when we were talking about how Brock Lesnar just refers to people by their last name, and because he called Seth Rollins curb stomp during the one contract signing, and he would just like go through the locker room and he'd be like, curb stomp? What's Sheamus's finisher's name? I'm stupid.
Bro kick.
Bro kick, yeah. Curb stomp, bro kick, roll up, roll up, roll up, roll up. Just going through the divas, like, yeah, it's bad, but definitely curious to see Eva Marie work a match. So let's move on. William Regal announces that the 4th of July show in WWE will be live on the WWE Network. It'll be in Tokyo, Japan, and Kevin Owens will defend the NXT title against Finn Balor on it.
Yeah, and the
big news, good news. Anything to say, John?
Well, I mean, I was also going to say, you say good news, there's also bad news. I mean, for people that may want to actually watch it while it happens, it's in Japan, it's going to be at 6:30 a.m. So, yeah, be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed for that one, folks. But it looks like a pretty impressive card, so, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next, though, we had our second match of the night, Carmella versus Alexa Bliss. I actually really enjoyed this match, and Alexa, so much better heel. Oh, my God. Everything about her is better as a heel.
Doesn't it feel good to be right?
She's even more attractive as a heel, if that's a thing.
Definitely.
She switched up the blue tips for red. Like, yeah, it's working, man.
Yeah, just fantastic.
And the
really
blue that was there is now purple.
Yeah. I enjoyed this too. I think Carmella even works a little bit better, better babyface. I got into her offense. I got into her stuff. But you know what though, she did work great as a heel. I'm not trying to take anything away from that either. But I think
she's just underrated in general.
Right.
I mean, she's not on the same level as like Becky and Sasha, but I would probably put her on the same level as Charlotte.
Yeah, I'd agree. Watch, we probably just started something we can't finish by saying that sentence. But yeah, I definitely agree with you.
I mean, that's the thing, though. Like, Carmella's never really gotten the opportunity to work a long match with somebody of Becky or Sasha or Natalia's level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas Charlotte has been carried to great matches by all three of those women.
Yeah. But, finish of the match comes, I think, Alexa Bliss gets a roll-up, but she uses the ropes, and that's how she beats Carmella. She's got that extra leverage. So Blurfy and Alexa Bliss, they get the win, and all is right with the heels in their world. So, yeah, good stuff.
Should we start calling them Blexurfy?
You know what? I can dig it. And to Carmella, I don't know, if you watched TWitWoW or not, but if you watched the Lucha Underground review prior to this, I mean, I closed out doing a soft for your ass, okay? And I probably lost a lung. The least you could have done was win the damn match. So, way to go.
Maybe Blurfexa?
I like that. Oh, God. It's going to be in my head now whenever we talk about these guys. Blurfexa. Oh, my God. What is wrong with us?
All right. Next up, though, we had a Rhyno interview. Really, really generic. Not bad, just generic. He pretty much says what you would expect anyone to say in his position. He came back to rise to the top of the hottest thing going in the industry, and Balor is the top guy there, but the theatrics and mind games aren't going to phase a psychotic man beast like him. And then he specifies that he came to NXT to become the NXT champion. So there you go.
Yeah, man. I mean, like you said, a pretty by-the-numbers promo. Nothing really more to add. Let's move on.
Up next, we had a Sami Zayn video package. They showed him, he was explaining how he injured his shoulder, and then they showed the doctor explaining what exactly the injury is, and then they showed him going into surgery, and then they showed the doctor telling him that the surgery was a success. So all good news. Can't wait for him to be back, and hopefully when he does come back, it's on the main roster.
Yeah, I would definitely like to see some rehab videos going forward every once in a while about Sami Zayn, training and just getting into
Triple H, man, back in the early 2000s that got him so freaking over as soon as he comes back at the Royal Rumble that year.
Oh, that pop. I think I heard a story that he cried hearing that pop.
I forget, what year was that? Was that 03?
That was 02.
02, okay.
Yeah, 03 was Lesnar's year. But yeah, Zayn can do rehab videos, and I would like him to talk about Kevin Owens and him beating John Cena and all that stuff, because you got to imagine that their business isn't over, being Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. And I don't even really think it's about the NXT Championship anymore, so Kevin Owens could lose it at any point. I still think Sami Zayn would want a piece of Kevin Owens. I think it just transcended the championship.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, when I saw a timetable that was 3 to 6 months for Sami Zayn's return. I want him to take all 6. I want him to return in December, and I want him to return by attacking and possibly costing Kevin Owens a match. On the main roster, of course, because he'll be there.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that's true, too. I mean, the series has completely changed. So if Sami Zayn wants a piece of Kevin Owens, he's got to go all the way to the main roster to get it. And
dude, yeah. December is their month. December is their month. That's all I'm saying. December has been their month since 2011, I think it was. Maybe even 2010.
Oh my god. Now I'm just picturing Sami Zayn charging the ring, costing Kevin Owens that match. Maybe it's even for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And then he gets something wrong. Do you really think I'd forget our month, Kevin? It just goes after him. Oh.
No, that's the thing though. He would get on the mic and he'd be like, "We're bound to do this forever, man. We're destined to do this forever." I forget what the exact line is, but it was something along those lines. And yeah, they've been going at it. 1 year, Kevin Owens breaks up with him by hitting him over the head with the chair. The next year, he gets Kevin Owens fired with the same thing, a steel chair shot to the head. Yeah, they've been going at it every December, except for 2013. But other than that, every December since I think it was 2010 or 2009 or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, Kevin, you thought you were going to advance up the card? I'm your life now.
Yeah.
Oh man, but in all seriousness, I am very happy for Sami that the surgery was a success, and I think they even said he also got taken care of an issue that he's been dealing with for quite some time now, quite a while. So it'll be great to see a fully repaired, fully healed Sami Zayn, however long that takes, and I just can't wait to see him again.
Absolutely. Up next, we had our third match of the night. We had 4 total tonight. You know what, that's one thing that I will give NXT credit for, because Lucha Underground has become very formulaic in that they always have 3 matches.
Yeah.
NXT changes it up. They have anywhere from like 2 to 5 matches on their show, and I really appreciate that. So
Definitely.
if I'm going to give NXT a credit for anything over Lucha Underground, it'll be the variance in how many matches there are per show. So match number 3, we have the Vaudevillains back from whatever caused them to not be around for as long as they were, versus Jason Jordan and Marcus Louis, who is basically Baby Kane at this point.
Yeah, you know, I guess it's my turn to kind of be a douchebag, because you said you kind of felt like one with the whole Eva Marie thing earlier. You know, the more I look at Marcus Louis'
I wasn't a
face...
douchebag with Eva Marie. I was a douchebag with Dana Brooke.
Oh, no, because I know you said now I'm kind of being a douche when I made the suggestion about using the slice bread number 2, and then you said, well, I guess now, like, I'm kind of a douche.
Oh,
I
yeah,
just can't see that.
because I just can't imagine her doing it to, like, a girl like Sasha or Bayley.
Right. But now it's like my turn to be a douche, because like the more I look at Marcus Louis' face, I agree with Tyler Breeze's promo about how just no one loves him and just like how he should just go away. So yeah, I was looking at at Marcus Louis, and I was having that internal dialogue, and it kind of concluded with me like, wow, I really need help. I really need to work on me a little bit. But yeah, that was kind of my musings about Marcus. So, yeah.
Alliteration for the win.
Absolutely. You know how we do it, baby. But, Marcus just kind of looking at the Vaudevillains making these weird noises that just emitted from his throat. Corey Graves even says about it. I'm like, oh my god, please don't imitate them. I won't live. Jason Jordan, he's just looking at Marcus Louis, and he's like, oh my god, this is the physical manifestation of mid-card hell. Since we've been using the term tonight, we might as well look at it's like Crown freaking Prince right here. And I will say this, though. We would not, and you know this, Ashton, it would not be TWitWoW talking about the Vaudevillains if I did not freak out about seeing them again on my television. Because, good lord, I popped when I knew that they were going to be returning together tonight. Oh, so good.
Was it a good payoff?
Damn right it was.
Wow.
Because they're babyface. They worked babyface in this match. The crowd was into them.
Their heel theme.
And you know what, Ashton? It's funny you mention that, because when their little top hat guy was doing the introductions, I kept my ear really pricked up, waiting to see what theme they'd use. And was I disappointed they used the heel theme? I think that's too strong a word, because I do like that theme.
I was.
But I really do wish they would have used the older one. That I will agree with you.
Just the good old dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Yeah, like that thing. And then but when they're heels, it does that, but then they go for the evil handshake, and it's like bum bum bum.
Yeah, so I mean I do agree with you there. That said, I'm just so glad these guys are still together. They're giving it another go. It actually raises an interesting question, because I'm still convinced that Enzo and Big Cass are going to be the ones to dethrone Blurfy when they get a rematch.
Blurfexa.
Yeah, Blurfexa. Oh my god, I can't believe that's the thing. What do we do here on Twitter? Like, what are we doing? But you gotta wonder now if the Vaudevillains, are gonna reascend the ranks. I mean, dude, I'm in love with this team. Honestly, if I had any nitpick, and I have to be that guy, I'm not really crazy about Gentleman's Congress, the double team finisher with the uppercut to the back of the head and the neck breaker.
That's called the Whirling Dervish.
Oh, they're calling it the Whirling Dervish now? Because they used to call it Gentleman's Congress. I wasn't making that up.
Whirling Dervish, bro.
Well, it's the Whirling Dervish now. I was like, Jesus, guys, can you just, But I do prefer the Simon Gotch, steamroller into Aiden English's senton.
Yeah, and especially if they're going to be working face, that works way better.
Yeah, well, it pops the crowd more, right? It's not
It's like, oh my god, Aiden English is an athlete too?
Exactly, right? I thought he was just a pale-chested person that just got by security.
And Sam sometimes.
Exactly, and sang sometimes. But I do love these guys. I love that they're so different. I mean, they were one of the guys that when I used to say on NXT TWitWoW, I love the colorful arrangement of characters, and you find so many personalities on NXT. Like, yeah, this would be a team that I would mention.
Don't even act like Aiden English couldn't totally pass for an anemic Cesaro if he wanted to.
Oh my god, where do you come up with this shit? But yeah, you're right though, and that's what bothers me.
That's the point.
Not only do you come up with this, but it's accurate. You disturb me sometimes. But more importantly, speaking of disturbing, Jason Jordan didn't even know what to do with Marcus Louis as a partner. When he saw Marcus Louis get pinned, he just looked at him like, that's two shit partners that I've had. Ty Dillinger and Marcus Louis. And no, we're not doing it this week. We are not doing the whole Ty Dillinger love
How
fest.
dare you compare Ty to that jobber?
Look, first of all, I was comparing Ty and that jobber not only to that, but to human excrement. And second of all, it's still apropos. Now let's all get past it and move on.
It's a perfect 10, man.
Oh my god, we're never going to see that gimmick. How does that make you feel?
I think we're going to see it within the next month or two.
Oh my god, you know what? I hope you're right. I do.
So do I.
Oh my god. Look, the point is, let's keep the focus on people, that are actually winners. The Vaudevillains.
I was going to say, you can't say that about Jason Jordan.
No, you can't. Not until he teams with Chad Gable, and they form a quasi-shoot nation, because apparently the stable as a whole, or the faction as a whole, I should say, is no longer going to happen. But you can still make these two guys shoot nation.
See, that makes me wish that I lived in Florida so that I could have seen them on house shows.
Yeah, see? Freaking Abel lives in Florida. He probably gets to see it, the jerk. I'm sorry. I love you. You know that.
Abel's so much of a mark, he doesn't even go to NXT shows.
Yeah, that's right. Didn't he only go to that one? God, you and I would be attending him constantly.
Yeah, we would literally spend like $30 a week just on NXT tickets.
You know what? I redact my contrition. You really are a jerkwad. You're so privileged.
You redact your contrition.
Yeah, well, look, the Vaudevillains came back. I need to up my speak, man. So.
Your speak.
Oh my god, what happened in this segment? Let's move on before we say anything weirder than we already have.
Well, up next we had a Sasha Banks video package, and it was amazing.
Oh my god, like her face! You know what I loved, and I'm sure you could have appreciated this, because I know you put so much work in like the backgrounds you make for us and this and that and the editing, all that. I loved when they did like a phase in, phase out kind of technique with the Sasha Banks of FCW, and then her holding the NXT championship.
Bro, that was not FCW. That was her in NXT. It was just early version of her in NXT.
I thought the background was FCW background. I could have sworn.
No, dude, that was her in NXT.
I'm going to have to go back and watch it again, because I don't want to debate you on something as trivial as that, but I really thought,
yeah. It was NXT.
I'll have to go back and look again. But
yeah, it was back before she turned heel, dude.
I'll take your word for it, but regardless, just showing the evolution of Sasha Banks.
Yeah, I mean, I know she did have a few matches in FCW, but she was only there for a few months before they went to NXT.
But, yeah, just the whole thing was so well done, saying, I'm the baddest, I'm the prettiest, I'm the best, and going through every person she's made.
And us just sitting around saying, yep.
Yeah, I mean, it was the most agreeable video package of all time.
It really was.
Hyperbole? You're not gonna find it here. So, I don't know.
Hyperbole to be found.
Oh my god. I love that she has a submission finisher too, because they show all the tap outs. And honestly, here's the thing. It's not that it would be any less impressive if it was just like pinfalls, because, I mean, you beat legit opponents. It's that simple. But there's something about submissions, like, yeah, I have that kind of supremacy over you, and I'm the champion. I don't know. Sasha Banks, I think, is the most legit woman in wrestling.
Actually, John, you know what? I'm looking at her Wikipedia page right now, and it says here that in June 2012, actually, no, on August 18th was when of 2012 was when she signed a contract. And NXT was already this version. It was already the NXT at Full Sail by then. So no, she never even went to FCW.
Wow. All right.
She was straight to NXT, dude. Yeah,
wow,
that's she's only been in WWE for 3 years.
That's crazy. How old is she again? Because
like
wasn't
22 or 23? 23.
Jesus,
Yeah, she's 23 years old.
So, well, let me put this again in perspective, because I know I said this before, but you know what? It bears repeating, so I'm going to say it again. And now that I know her age, it makes it even more impressive. This woman is taking the world by storm with such ferocity and such amazingness as can never
AV
be
Club?
overstated on Twitter. Yeah, the AV Club reference, where this 23-year-old woman is being called the best wrestler in the world by a woman who is like a diehard Sami Zayn fan, has called him multiple times the best wrestler in the world. And then she sees Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch and she says, oh, I'm wrong, because apparently the cousin of Snoop Dogg is the best wrestler in the world. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. But in the best possible way. God, we love you, Sasha Banks. Anything else you want to say to that?
Oh man, just reading her profile here and reminding me of when Eva Marie came back and attacked her for literally no reason other than the fact that she felt like she took her spot. Do you remember that?
I remember Eva Marie, and that's just it.
Yeah.
I'm given my memory. I'm shocked that I even remember who Eva Marie is.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, all right. Well, let's move on. Up next, we had a Finn Balor promo on Kevin Owens. To me, this is the best promo that Finn Balor has cut since he's joined WWE. This was exceptional mic work, in my opinion.
Well, it was succinct. I think it sold the match with Owens. And
you know what, though? It was more than just the words that he said. His delivery in this promo was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah,
it was a great combination of intense, serious, and at the same time, somehow he managed to seem like he was laid back and almost like he had the whole world in his hands and he knew exactly what he wanted to do with it.
Exactly. I think, given our conversation about the whole Paul Heyman on Stone Cold's podcast where we had that discussion about promos, if you guys haven't seen that, please check that out. Had two great discussions, both about finishers and promos with Ashton here. But I think our discussion about promos, I think you could say that Finn Balor checked off all the boxes. I really enjoyed this. I think he definitely hyped the fight up with Kevin Owens. I'm looking, even more forward to that than I already was. And I loved how, because I know one person on Tweetov that listens to it. I think it was Mark Shonenman. I may be pronouncing his last name wrong, and I apologize. But he actually threw in my face that I bring up the Chris Jericho rule of promo cutting, how you build your guy up, but you don't, you build your guy up, but you don't, tear yourself down. You build yourselves both up. This way, when you beat the guy, you do something. And yeah, Finn Balor definitely did that here. Because he said, I know what Kevin Owens is capable of. I know what he did to Sami Zayn. I saw what he did to John Cena. So good on Finn Balor for not, demoting himself and devaluing himself, but rather, building up Kevin Owens and just knowing that he can beat him. That's how you cut a promo. So great job.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. We have our main event of the evening next, Finn Balor versus Rhyno. Really quick match. I feel like the match of the night tonight almost had to be Breeze versus Rose just because nothing else got nearly as much time as it did.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. What you're going to get with any Rhyno matchup that goes for an extended period of time that's not a squash is you're going to get him trying to overpower a finisher fest really towards the end. And really everything in the middle is just him trying to, impose his will on their opponent, use that power game. But, the other person's too quick and whatever. It was the same thing with Sami Zayn. And, that's what happened here. I will say, they've got to have some kind of plan for Rhyno, because we already talked about what happened in the post-match with the whole gore to Finn Balor at the start with the whole, heat of the night segment. And he didn't even lose to the coup de grace. He lost to a roll-up because Finn tried going for the coup de grace. Rhyno moved out of the way. But then Rhyno tried going for the gore. Finn obviously averted that. And that's when he got the schoolboy and the win. So they did a good job of, protecting Rhyno. And then I guess that made the turn mean more because he got caught. It's not like he got beat definitively by Finn, with his finisher. And so Finn keeps his momentum. Rhino's protected, and he kind of has this growth into this heel monster, whatever's going to happen for him. And Kevin Owens, kayfabe-wise, has to see Finn Balor get gored, clutch the ribs, and think, oh, yeah, this is just going to be another day at the office for me. So, good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So do we want to talk about what happened after the match, since we kind of already touched on it, or do you just want to skip over it?
I think we could skip over it, because there's not really much more you can say about it. I mean, we already kind of discussed the possibilities and our reservations about, the aftershocks of this, so I think we're just going to wait and see it play out. So, with that said, that only leaves one segment, high spots and low shots. And you know what? I'm going to say that my low shot is Eva Marie. This is her first interview, kind of introducing herself, and nobody even gave her a chance to speak. And I think that's sad. This is another one of my kind of more like legit low shots, because I think it's really a shame that we didn't get to hear her speak her mind. And
you know
really
what though, dude? She did handle it like a pro.
She did. I will say, I feel like she handled it really well. She didn't buckle under the pressure. She didn't stammer. She didn't do any of that. She used the heat to her advantage. It just sucks that people were that close-minded. So, you know what? Maybe I'll make her like an honorary low shot because she did handle it like a pro. If I was to give a more legit low shot, I'm going to say Jason Jordan. Because, you know what? The week before this whole tag matchup, he was talking smack to Chad Gable like, oh, I don't need you. I already found a partner. And then we're thinking, oh, Jason's found somebody to replace Ty Dillinger.
The perfect partner, he even said.
The perfect partner that's going to replace
that
Ty
makes it
Dillinger.
Funnier.
And it's Marcus freaking Louis, who he even looks at post-match and's like, God damn, man, what do I got to do?
Unless they're going to bring back Marcus Louis' gay character that he was using when he cut the promo down at the NXT developmental promo cutting station, and they're going to have Jason Jordan and him be actual partners.
Oh my God. Why? What inspired that thought process? But more importantly,
that's literally the only context in which I can believe Marcus Louis being the perfect quote-unquote partner. That's why I had that thought process.
Those golden showers. Oh
my God.
Hey, look, if we're making
literally everybody that heard you say that hasn't seen that promo is going to think you are the creepiest of perverts.
I know. Well, I think that ship already sailed, to be fair. But I'm just taking it around the world. So yeah, I'm gonna say that, honorary low shot Eva Marie, because I did feel bad for her. But if we're talking a more legit low shot, because you had a great counterpoint to that, Jason Jordan definitely, because it's still not clicking for him when he left Ty Dillinger, which is probably feeding Ashton here, thinking, yeah, see, Ty Dillinger was the talented one, and Ty Dillinger, when he's holding his ribs after jobbing, is like, yep, should have never left me. So it's a bad time for Jason Jordan.
Ty Dillinger does not job.
But he did. He did against Finn Balor like last week.
He puts people over very graciously. But
oh my God! Would you just name your low shot? I can't even.
I think my low shot is going to be Carmella, just because she's been talking all this game and she finally got the NXT crowd behind her, and she's talking smack to Blurfy, and next thing you know, Alexa Bliss comes along came a spider, and she also happened to grab the second rope, and that allowed her to pin Carmella with ease.
Yeah, I really have to agree with you. Nothing more to say than that. And now for my high spot, one of the more enjoyable high spots for me in recent memory, the Vaudevillains.
Oh, I want to make that like a co-high spot, because that's how I feel too. Like, they clearly had the best night tonight, I think, but
yeah,
you have it.
Yeah, I mean, it feels so good to say that. Welcome back, guys. Love that they're still teaming together. Love that they're babyface. I mean, me and Ashton already talked about the tweaks that we would make, so no need to rehash it here. The important thing is you got the win tonight. Granted, it was over a jobber team, and by that I mean Marcus Lee, because Jason Jordan is just so excellent. But yeah, you got the win, and you're moving up the ranks, and I hope we see them in the tag team title picture again soon.
My high spot is Finn Balor, because even though he got gored at the end, he still won his match. He cut an amazing promo, and he has an NXT Championship match against Kevin Owens in a territory that you could easily say gives him a home field advantage.
You know what, Ashton, I wanted to say about Finn Balor, too, as kind of I guess it's appropriate because you just named him as your high spot, but I feel the need to say it here. I was listening today to like a slew of like Stone Cold clips, I guess, on one of his podcasts. Like I listened to one where he gave his thoughts on Kevin Owens and one on Samoa Joe, and I actually found one of Finn Balor. And Austin's like, he's such a great in-ring worker, because I guess he's seen like his stuff in Japan as Prince Devitt. And he said, I don't really care much for the theatrics. And he also made the point that I hope the pain isn't a weekly thing, which, he doesn't have anything to worry about there. And, but he said he really doesn't care for like all the movements that Finn does and like all that. I don't really know if he's a big fan of the entrance. And I'm like, man, Steve, I love you to death, but I don't really think you get it, because I'm watching Finn make his entrance tonight. And I love the look, by the way, with the whole bandana kind of mask thing as a substitute for the paint when he's not wanting to bring out the demon.
It would make so much more sense to me if he had on the face mask the upper teeth, and then on his shirt the lower teeth, so that it actually looked like his body paint, but with the shirt and the mask.
That's actually a great idea. Yeah,
I don't know why they didn't do that to start with.
But why I bring all this up is, like, I just feel like Steve's kind of experiencing a Dave Connect, because when Finn was doing his whole arm motion, I could see a section of the crowd doing it with him each time with the music, like,
Yep.
in time.
Yep.
And that's how you know, like, I'm telling you, this guy knows how to control a room. And I think Triple H even said, like, a WWE superstar, it's not just making your entrance. You want to control everything, use everything. And I feel like Finn has got that down to a science, man. Now put him in front of a WrestleMania crowd with 70, 80,000 people. I mean, they say that the WrestleMania this year could hold over 100,000. You put him in front of a crowd like that, man, the reaction and the animation and just the moment. His WrestleMania entrance is going to be at the same time his WrestleMania moment. That's how insane this guy is. And I just I love Stone Cold to death. I agree with him on a majority of things when he talks about the business and where he's coming from. But man, when he was saying that stuff about Finn, I just had to shake my head and be like, dude, I hate to say this to you of all people, but I just don't really think you're getting it here. I can't wait for Finn to really take this whole show, this whole atmosphere that he brings to the main roster and to the bigger stages, because man, is he going to own it. He's so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, with that said, I mean, is there anything else you want to say about NXT?
Nope.
All right, then. With that said, guys, this has been NXT. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment and subscribe on YouTube. What was your favorite moment from NXT this week? How do you feel about the Vaudevillains reuniting and Finn Balor's chances after getting gored of taking the championship off Kevin Owens? I would hope pretty freaking good if he has a whole month to heal. But just give us all your thoughts on that. Be sure to take the conversation over to Tweetoff, an amazing pro wrestling group on Facebook where you can talk about all your favorite NXT superstars and moments. A lot of impassioned NXT fans over there. But if you're more of an introvert, maybe you don't like talking to big throngs of people and you just want to keep the conversation to myself and my cohort commentary here, Ashton's got you covered. He has made a TwitWoW subreddit where you can find all of our content there, and you can start topics of your own if you like to engage us on all things pro wrestling. Now, Ashton, I'm going to ask you very quickly before I finish up the outro. We don't have anything else this week, do we? Our next thing's just going to be our Raw review?
Correct.
All right, so then we will see you again for our Monday Night Raw review, where I just have to facepalm and ask, Seth, we know you're the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, but are you actually going to get your belt back to go with it? We'll find out. Until then, tune in, and peace out.